Of the African American Chamber of Commerce here in Western Pennsylvania. And our mission is to continuously improve business opportunities for African American business owners and professionals and all small business owners in our network. This is a wonderful story to tell, but I am pleased to have our speaker, who I just met, and the company has joined with us, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But Diana Charletta is the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for Equitrans Midstream. And she's going to tell you a little bit more about the company, but let me tell you a little bit about her. She was appointed Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer in September of 2018. She served as Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer, and a Director for EQM General Partner, and another company that's associated with them since October 18. I can't remember all of the letters that go with that. She joined EQT in 2002 as a Senior Pipeline Engineer, held several management positions, including being promoted to the pipeline engineering portion of the business in 2008 and became Director of Gas Systems Planning in 2005 and became Director of Gas Systems Planning in 2008. In 2010, Diana became Vice President of Gas Management and Transportation. She assumed the role of Senior Vice President of Midstream Operations in 2018. So that's a nice little progression to put down. She was promoted to Senior Vice President of Midstream Engineering and Construction in 2017. She's a Pittsburgh native. She's a graduate of WVU. Have we WVU? Oh, I knew we had some. And she's a graduate of the Women's Executive Leadership Program at Duquesne University. Join me to welcome our speaker for this morning, Diana Charletta.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you all. I haven't been here since they redid the place. It's really nice. It's great. So I'd like to thank Doris and the African American Chamber of Commerce of Western Pennsylvania, which is a mouthful, for inviting me to be with you today. And more importantly, I'd like to thank each of you for being here this morning. As Doris said, I'm Diana Charletta, Chief Operating Officer for Equitrans Midstream. When Doris mentioned the opportunity to speak today, she said this would be the right time and place to tell you what Equitrans Midstream, or as we like to call it, the E-Train, is all about, and what we're doing in the region to promote the natural gas industry and stimulate economic growth across southwestern Pennsylvania. Being that E-Train is, for all intents and purposes, a new company, we actually have a long 135-year history, operating miles and miles of gas pipelines. Therefore, Doris's offer was one that I couldn't refuse. As a new member of your organization, I think this is the perfect time to tell you E-Train's story. So the first question may be, how can a new company be 135 years old? Although it may sound confusing, the answer is quite simple. Many of you are familiar with the company by the name of EQT Corporation, as they have been an active member of the African American Chamber of Commerce for several years. And they've been operating their upstream business and previously operated their midstream business in our region for more than 135 years. In early 2018, EQT made a decision to separate the two companies. As a result, last year, on November 13th, Equitrans Midstream Corporation was launched as a standalone, publicly traded midstream infrastructure company, which was the culmination of EQT's separation process, where EQT separated the upstream and the midstream business units. In doing so, EQT still exists and retained the upstream or production side of the business, which is really the drilling of the natural gas wells. And Equitrans Midstream became a separate corporation that will focus on the gathering, transmission, and storage of the natural gas, or the midstream side of the business. The name Equitrans is a historical name that stems from our large Equitrans transmission system that has been the backbone of our midstream system for decades. So essentially, ETRN has been operating in the new midstream sector for 135 years, but as a new company, we're only 6 months old. Our shares began trading in the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol ETRN on the first day that we became a standalone company. The last 6 months have been an exciting time for ETRN, for our employees, and for me personally. I am very fortunate to be working with a tremendous group of talented employees, most of whom I've worked with for a decade or more, as we begin the journey to achieve our vision of being a premier midstream services company in North America. And in doing so, our goal is to be the low-cost provider of safe, reliable, and innovative infrastructure solutions for the U.S. energy industry. Last November, our new CEO, Tom Karam, told several groups of investors and employees, "We are launching Equitrans Midstream as a powerful, independent company with a very bright future. Through its long history and unique asset position across the Marcellus and Utica Shale, EQT built and transformed its midstream business by capturing opportunities that achieved tremendous growth. ETRN now emerges with strong fundamentals, and as we work to deliver solutions for our customers and create additional value for our shareholders, our goal is to achieve the scale and scope of a premier top-tier midstream company." And today, ETRN is the third largest gas gatherer in the United States, and we are one of the strongest midstream companies in the Appalachian Basin. And our journey has just begun. Let me tell you a bit more about who we are and exactly what we do, and more importantly, about a few key milestones that we've achieved in just a few short months. When ETRN was launched in November, we also had two other, here's the alphabet soup, so there's a lot of letters in here, two other publicly traded companies that operated as master limited partnerships, or MLPs. They were EQM Midstream Partners LP and EQGP Holdings LP. ETRN had certain ownership percentages in both the limited partner and the general partner interests of these entities. And one of our first orders of business was to simplify ETRN's corporate structure. There are several reasons why the structure simplification was important to our business, with perhaps the most important one being support future growth opportunities. So now, in late November, just 2 weeks after we began a standalone company, we began the process to eliminate and delist EQGP Holdings. And by the end of January of this year, we had completed the structure simplification transaction, which provided us with a much easier to understand corporate structure. And that sounds easy, but it was crazy how many financial people and bankers it took to get that all done. But now at least, we have two entities, Equitrans Midstream Corp and EQM Midstream Partners, or EQM. ETRN is the parent company of EQM and has the controlling interest in EQM's operations. EQM is the entity that holds the assets. That's where everything sits, including all of our natural gas lines, transmission lines, and storage systems, compressor stations, as well as water services assets. ETRN has all the people that operate those assets. Through our ownership interest in EQM, ETRN's assets are uniquely positioned across the Marcellus and Utica shales and are primarily located in southwestern Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, and southeastern Ohio. We have close to 800 employees and thousands of contractors who are responsible for safely constructing and operating our pipelines and facilities, and who run our day-to-day business activities in our South Point office. So keeping in mind our strategically placed asset footprint, I mentioned that simplification was important for future growth opportunities. After closing the structure simplification in January, an acquisition opportunity presented itself. On March 14th, we announced a strategic bolt-on acquisition to acquire 60% of Eureka Midstream and 100% of Hornet Midstream. And we closed the deal on April 10th. That's less than a month, which is extremely fast for an acquisition. Eureka Midstream is a 190-mile gathering system in Ohio and West Virginia that services both dry Utica and wet Marcellus production. And Hornet Midstream is a 15-mile high-pressure gathering system, also in West Virginia, that connects the Eureka system. The acquisition was another step in executing our strategy to grow to a top-tier midstream company. And more importantly, these assets are what we call a bolt-on acquisition because they are within our footprint and they leverage our existing assets and core operating competencies. These assets perfectly complement EQM's basin-leading gathering and transmission system and allow us to continue being the low-cost provider for gas transportation and increasingly for water handling as well. In fact, with the ongoing natural gas development activity surrounding our newly expanded assets and the large mix of customers that come along with it, we see significant value in leveraging our fast-growing water services business, which is a business that is a very interesting opportunity for us. While we understand how to operate the gas gathering, transmission, and storage business very well, we see tremendous opportunity to utilize the similar business model for our water handling business. Today, the majority of producers use trucks to transfer their water to and from the well site. By designing and implementing a freshwater and produced water pipeline system, we can help make the producer's operations safer by reducing the number of trucks on the road and also by reducing air emissions to help better preserve and protect the environment. As I mentioned earlier, at ETRN, we want to be the low-cost provider and partner of choice across all aspects of our business, natural gas transportation and water services. Now, along with the existing assets in our latest acquisition, we also have several organic growth projects that are currently underway. These projects include the Mountain Valley Pipeline, which is a 300-mile transmission line that will run through West Virginia and Virginia. This project is more than 80% complete, and although we have had a few permitting issues to tackle, we're targeting an in-service date by the end of the year. There is also our MVP Southgate project, which is approximately 70 miles long and will be an extension to MVP. Southgate will begin in the southernmost portion of Virginia and will transport gas to the growing natural gas demand in North Carolina. The project is scheduled for an in-service date in 2020. We're also constructing 3 pipeline extension projects that will transport natural gas for use by power plants in Greene County, Pennsylvania, and Brooke and Harrison counties, West Virginia. Each of these unique projects will increase the strategic nature of ETRN's pipeline infrastructure system by accessing new and growing gas demand markets, all while utilizing our abundant energy resources from right here in our local Marcellus and Utica Shale region. In a nutshell, ETRN's strategy focuses on leveraging existing pipeline and storage infrastructure systems and developing organic growth projects that will expand our footprint across the Appalachian Basin. In turn, we are able to develop innovative customer solutions by providing an abundance of delivery points to major demand markets. As our journey continues, the core drivers of our activities will primarily involve 3 aspects of our business: gathering and transporting natural gas supplies from the most prolific natural gas basin in North America, increasing access to local, regional, and national markets, and providing water and other midstream services to producers across the basin. Now that I've explained who Equitrans Midstream and EQM Midstream Partners are and what we do, I want to shift the focus a bit to tell you why I think, or really why I know, we will be successful. Being a new company with a long history of safe, reliable, and responsible operations, ETRN had the unique opportunity to start fresh and chart a new course of growth and success. So along with all of the standalone, standard business and operational work we have done, we've also took time to focus on what really makes our company tick from the inside out. Utilizing a clean slate, we wanted to begin to create a new company culture by developing a set of vision, mission, and core values that would be our fundamental footprint and act as the framework to guide our overall company decisions and behaviors. Our vision and mission provide the direction for our future, essentially helping us stay aligned and on the same page. And externally, they are paramount in delivering our ETRN brand to the public. I mentioned our vision earlier, to be the premier midstream services company in North America. and our mission is quite compelling and engaging as well. We move the energy that keeps America moving, providing innovative solutions and reliable energy infrastructure services in a safe, efficient, and responsible manner. We operate with integrity, accountability, and transparency to deliver sustained value for our customers and shareholders, provide an engaging workplace for our employees, preserve and protect the environment, and support the communities where we live and where we work. But perhaps most important, and certainly closest to the heart, are our 5 core values: safety, integrity, collaboration, transparency, and excellence. Now, it's not by default or happenstance that our first and number 1 core value is safety. That is very deliberate. In fact, to further elaborate, we define our safety value as being safety, compliance is just a start. We are committed to responsible operations that will safeguard the environment and protect the health and safety of our employees, contractors, and communities, always. At ETRN, we have a safety platform that we call ZIP Today, which stands for Zero is Possible Today. We want to be sure ETRN is on the right track to continue developing a strong safety culture, and we remind our employees each and every day that their commitment to safety is paramount above all else, and that execution is not successful unless zero is possible. The safety and well-being of our employees, contractors, and the people who live in our communities is our highest priority. We all have a shared responsibility to create a workforce where zero is possible, and we must all demonstrate safety leadership to achieve successful results. An ongoing top-of-mind focus on safety is needed as part of our social license to operate. We need to demonstrate our commitment to doing the right thing in everything we do and everywhere we operate. We do this because it's the right thing and because it's good business. We also impress the set of beliefs upon our vendors, contractors, and suppliers. These various companies and their thousands of employees are an extension of ETRN, and it's imperative that they also maintain a stringent focus on safety and believe that zero is possible. In doing so, they will become stronger, more successful companies, and they will be helping ETRN to achieve greater success as well. In closing, I want to thank you once again for being here and listening to me tell you our ETRN story. We are excited about all that we've accomplished and all the opportunities that lie ahead. In the coming months, we'll begin working together with Doris to engage members of your organization by setting up a workshop and doing business with Equitrans Midstream. This will be an opportunity to grow and expand our supplier base as we create new and mutually beneficial business partnerships in the region. As you leave here this morning, whether you're walking, driving, riding a bus, taking the T, please keep safety top of mind, above all else. Thank you once again for being here today and helping ETRN spread the word that zero is possible.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I have a comment before you ask that. So washing water, Murray Gerber used to always talk about washing water. That's part of what you do?
Washing water?
Meaning cleaning it?
So we reuse it.
Reuse it, okay, that's the washing water.
The producers frack with large
Yes.
amounts of water. So once it goes down the hole, we transport it there. They use it to frack and complete the well, and then we transport it away from.
So you clean it when it comes.
Yeah, you
Okay,
use.
all right.
There's not a lot of treatment really. You can use that same water to use in the next well.
Okay.
So they recycle almost. I think it's over 90% of the water that they use.
Barry, you had your hand up?
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Barry Nathan. I'm curious about, I'm an organizational psychologist, so when you talk about all of the acquisitions going on, how are you managing from a human resource perspective, from a people standpoint, how are you managing the acquisitions, the changes? I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so while we were still EQT, we purchased Rice, which was a huge acquisition. And on the midstream side, there were a lot of in-flight projects, so picking up building a pipeline in the middle of building a pipeline is not an easy thing to do. We kept almost all, at least all the interested people that wanted to stay, rice. And so we have been blending the rice and the midstream, EQT midstream culture for almost a year before we separated from EQT. Then we had to take people that have been working together for 20 years in accounting and some of those shared services. We separated them, created this new organization. Now we bought Eureka. So I think it's good because we take a piece of each of those companies, the best pieces of all of those, and we put them together. We kind of blend that culture, take the good and leave the bad, and throw away some of our bad until we're a better company for it. So it's been good, but it has been a lot of change. Our new CEO he's amazing. He's very good, and he's excited, and he brings a whole fresh new outlook on things. So we're excited to chart our own course. But it's not easy. People are the most difficult part of it all.
Spoken like
Yes.
a true engineer.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
A quick question. Has EQT Midstream kind of stayed out of the rice versus EQT
Yeah.
wobble?
Pretty much. EQT is our largest customer, and we want them to be successful. So we like to say that we're Switzerland. Of course, we have great relationships with the existing team and believe that they can be successful. If something were to happen, we also need the next group of people to be successful. So we are on the periphery of that. It's impactful because it impacts our largest customer, but we're kind of on the sidelines.
Anyone else? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been informative.
Thank you.
This is a nice balance for. It's been a nice balance for what you read in the paper, and you can't believe all the news. And now you've heard it straight from the company's mouth, and we wish you the best.
Thank you.
I will start with that. I was, when the company separated, I made a call, as most of you know I do, to the companies, and called on this guy, Tom Karen. And went to meet with him, and my husband is a person that collects cufflinks, and I help buy them for him, and I walk in. He comes into the meeting, and he's got these fancy cufflinks on that are trains. So that started the conversation for Equitrans Midstream. We got to talk. I found out he's from Scranton. I know people in Scranton. You know what happens when you start a conversation with people and hopefully find common ground. By the end of our 20-minute meeting, not only had he signed on as our presidential roundtable member, but he said, you have to meet Diana Charletta. And so the very next day I called her and said, you have to come speak before our chamber. So we look forward to working with you. A How to Do Business workshop is something that we would truly benefit from and enjoy having the opportunity to do, because we've got a number of members that really could benefit and feed into your industry and hopefully help to strengthen some of the work that you do. So thank you. Let me thank everyone for attending some of our past events that we just had. We've had several. Our How to Do Business with Rivers Casino was very successful. That went very well. We hear that a number of our members are in their second step of following through. The mixer at Hosanna House went well, and thank you for being a part of that, as well as the How to Do Business with Huntington Bank. We are still working with Elizabeth to strengthen what they do here in Pittsburgh, since she's in Cincinnati, and it keeps her on that highway. But we're working on developing some new initiatives with them. Probably the highlight for us last month was our annual meeting and business luncheon. Let me share with you the feedback. Farnham Jaharian, the president of Carnegie Mellon, loved our event. And he loved it because of you, and I thank you for being there, being a part of it. He enjoyed it. He couldn't believe the turnout we had. And I said, well, it was for you. I mean, President Carnegie Mellon does carry some weight. But he enjoyed all 380 people that were in attendance. He benefited from it, and we appreciate those of you that participated. Our How to Do Business workshop with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're working on pieces of that. They spent a lot of time talking about their community involvement, and we want to go back and talk about their corporate engagement. Don't smile. But they did a nice job, and we're following up with step 2 with them. You know, we do a How to Do Business workshop with the Pirates, if not every year, every other year. So this will be a good follow-up for them. All of you who went out to vote benefited from our candidates forum. We had all the candidates except for 2 present with us, and it was a good session. And thank you to the New Pittsburgh Courier for the coverage and being a part of it. Rod Doss was our moderator with all of the candidates, and that went well. Our fraud workshop with PNC continues to generate interest, so we'll be doing more work with them, and that was a good workshop too, incidentally. We have some new members, and if they are present, I'd like to just ask them to stand. Christopher Dean, CFL Integrated Business Solutions. Taylor Ford, I know she's not here, IT's for me. Tanisha Williams-Wood, Pennsylvania Women Work. Our supporting member is Karen Besser from Coppers Lending Association. Associate member Jamie Ann Walt from Webeck East. They're now a part of us. Jocelyn Horner, Strong Women, Strong Girls of Pittsburgh. Our new corporate sponsor is Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Dwayne Faring is a part of us. And I mentioned we have 3 new Presidential Roundtable members. Leroy Ball, Coppers Inc., Christopher Drum, AmeriHealth Caritas, and Thomas Karen, Equitrans Midstream. That's a first for us to get 3 in 1 month. So we were doing a happy dance in the We also have had, we've had 5 new members join us through the initiative that Keisha Mohammed, our Chief Operating Officer, manages with Bridgeway Capital, and we're pleased to have them be a part of us. We've got a number of upcoming events, but let me share with you, I always forget to mention this. Don't forget to complete your survey. We put one out for you, but guess what? We're going to be following up with an email so that you can fill out the survey electronically and get it back to us, because your feedback is very important to us. This is your last year to receive our membership directories hard copy. We're trying to save some trees. So unless you request them, we'll have it for you online as we currently do, but we'll be featuring different aspects of the membership directory and how you can access the information, and continue to do as many of you do, and that is call Sean when you want to know where companies are located. We're there to help with that. Our legislative directories will be mailed to you next week. Those you can use not only for the chamber, but use them for your own companies. You need to write to your senators and congressmen and city council members. We have the listing for the entire state, so you'll be receiving that next week. I am so thrilled to tell you that this, our second golf clinic, is going extremely well. It's a unique opportunity that we're doing now for the first time. It's a golf clinic, but it's a golf clinic with a twist. We have invited C-suite members from major corporations, many of which are here, EQT. All the major corporations in town have been invited, and our members, each of you will get to play with them. We call it the art of the scramble. So you'll get to play as a member of a scramble with a C-suite executive to tighten up building relationships. As many of you know, if you spend a number of hours on the golf course, you get to learn a lot about people. The scramble is to talk about the art of building relationships, not the art of asking for the order. So on the 31st, we will be focused on C-suite execs with our members, building those relationships. We're bringing in the golf pro from Florida, Anthony Stephanie, who will be with us again, and he's been elevated in the PGA professional player development stage, and he'll be talking about how to build a scramble. There's still time to register. It's $250. You'll get a continental breakfast. You'll get the lecture, The Art of the Scramble. Bring your clubs if you have them. And then you'll go out onto the golf course. Each scramble will be set up. You'll get to play, practice, and then at 12 o'clock we'll present our gifts. You'll have lunch, and then you can go back to the golf course if you'd like. It should be a fun morning, and I just encourage all of you to do that. And don't forget we're closed Monday, so don't call us Monday. Holiday. Our members mixer at Arnold's Tea Room is coming up next month. That should be fun. I think most of you know Chef Claudia, but this is going to be a fun event, and if you haven't been over there, it's delightful to see. On June 14th, we're having Christina Salas, and she has spoken with us before, but she's coming to tell us about all of the new developments and what's happening at the airport. This should be exciting. If you've been out at the airport, you see a number of things going on. She's going to put it all in perspective, and a number of our members are now doing business as a result of our workshop. So she'll be following up on that. You can't miss this workshop. June 18th, we're bringing in Google. We encourage you to sign up early. It will be a wonderful opportunity to talk about how to grow your business through Google. Marketing tips, all kinds of information will be provided. It's a morning session from 8:30 until noon. We encourage you to participate. Registration is at 8:30. The session will actually begin at 9 o'clock. You gotta be a part of this. We want every chair filled in that room if possible. This is something, if you recall, we've been talking about for a long time, complaining that we couldn't have access to Google. We got it. Thanks to Keisha, Google is coming. So our presence out there, yes. She happened to be at the right place at the right time to make the connection, and now we've got them coming in, so we'll look to have you there. We talked about the fraud workshop. Omar is coming back from HIMA. Omar Hawaji is coming back to do a cybersecurity workshop. If you someone hasn't tried to tap into your system, fear not, it's coming. He's going to talk about how to protect your system, personally as well as at your office, tips and things that you could learn to do. I had someone try and tap into my bank account because they sent me a fraudulent logo from my banker. Turned out it wasn't true. You want to learn all the tips that you can take advantage of to avoid those kind of instances. This is going to be on June 20th. You know, we're not short on projects. Our mixer with Citizens Bank will be June 26th, and that's always fun. They're doing a lot of work on their building, but they have room for us, and we'll be fine. Twice a year, as you know, we have members orientation. So it's June. We invite all the new members, those that haven't been, come to the members orientation where we host you, and provide you background on what it means to be part of our organized body, give you the history, and share information that we hope you can take back and use towards your membership. It is so nice to see so many of you here this morning. We thank you. Have a safe and pleasant holiday weekend, and we'll see you soon.